Should you wear reps? I think reps are okay in moderation. Let me preface this by saying that I do not own any reps, but the scenario where I see them being justifiable is the one where you are only wearing them and not selling them. Okay, let me pose a comparison to you. The Oxford definition of pirating is to use or reproduce another's work for profit. The developer of Ultra Kill wrote in a quote tweet that you should support indies if you can, but culture shouldn't exist only for those who can afford it. I think this goes the same for clothing. If you have the money to spend, buy the real thing. And if you just don't have a crazy budget, find the special items, or better yet, find a similar alternative. Maybe it makes you feel good about yourself or fit into a niche or whatever, but you gotta have said reps in moderation. Don't turn into a panda buy warrior, just have a couple pieces that you really like. That's what separates you from those YouTubers doing the more 25 kilogram 24 hour video. Own them in moderation and don't wear them to make it seem like you have money to spare. Also, don't buy them in the hopes that you can resell them down the line for the price of the real thing, and alongside it, you need to think about whether you're going to tell people that they're real or fake. A couple years ago, nobody was really able to confidently call someone out on a rep, and people have gotten better at it, but still maybe like 3% of people are actually going to look and say something. And at the end of the day, if you're honest, it becomes kind of awkward for the other person if they're trying to embarrass you or whatever. But if you're going to lie about it, you don't even need to listen to this. This is just for reps that are clearly ripping off the brand, like these fake Jordan 4s. But when the well-known brands start making their rounds on a new meta, that's a whole nother conversation to be had. Nobody's gonna blame you if you accidentally buy like a look-alike silhouette from fucking H&M that you didn't even know was a rep. And I'm not out there buying shoes at H&M, but some people are, and if they're not up to date on clothing trends because they have an actual life outside of fashion, then so be it. We don't need to shit on them for it. Here's an example. I saw this one guy wearing these Puma shoes that are clearly biting off on Jordans, and I discovered that he did not know what Jordans were. He wasn't really into clothing like that, but he needed shoes to wear and he found those for cheap. So do we classify these as reps, making him a rep buyer? Well, even if we do, he's not really a rep buyer, like he bought them, but not knowingly so. And so it's like, well, no, he's not really a rep buyer, and slowly this actually makes the shoe somewhat original. Like the first time you see them, yeah, it looks like a Jordan, but when you get a bit of perspective, like no, he picked Puma, not Nike. Also, on a side note, I kinda dislike Jordans and Nike in general now. If I thought about it more and wrote it down in depth, I could tell you, but I don't know, right now, probably just cause everyone has them and they've lost their standoutness. Let me pose another scenario. Let's say you're a big fan of the album Blonde, even if you're not or you hate it or whatever, just for argument's sake. You really want a vinyl for your collection, but you just can't afford to pay $700 for it, which is understandable. Is it morally okay to buy the rep? I would say so myself, and that would be just one album out of many to come that would hopefully be real. Sound argument, right? Or no, tell me what you think. Also, I think buying reps for anything other than shoes kind of ruins the experience of finding unique pieces that make your outfit stand out. But like if you buy reps of something other than shoes, the best case scenario is when you're buying some crazy bullshit like a Balenciaga Fortnite shirt or something. When you go looking for pieces that are unique, you can even find vintage designer without the logos, which rep manufacturers won't replicate because they stick to the well-known flashy brands like Balenciaga, Stussy, and back in the day the classic Supreme and Yeezys and shit like that. So whether or not you should wear reps is ultimately up to you to decide, but don't become a panda buy warrior, and if that is you, there's still hope. Stop buying them. You don't even have to get rid of your reps, but don't continue to purchase them if you're just trying to flex how much money you have that allowed you to buy 32 different pairs of Jordan 4s and matching Nike techs. When it gets to that point, you've spent enough money to get like 3 or 4 nice pairs of good shoes that are real and you don't have to stress about. I mean, come on, do you really want to be like this guy?
The haul came in 2 weeks, so let's open up the long-awaited haul. Starting off with the first pair of shoes, we got easy slides. These feel amazing. I don't know why they feel so nice. I'll be back if you're curious. But this shoe I've been waiting on for so long. I don't know why these cream off-whites are so nice. I think they have that basic Air Force look, but there's so much more to it. These might be my new dailies. I forgot not one. 2 pairs of the Essential City. I don't think these are ever going out of style. Everyone buys them. I got these really nice blanks. I swear, blanks were not up on the beacons and East Code Loot for discounts. Let me know, was this a W haul?
I mean, can you imagine if he listened to Netspend for just 1 minute instead of 21 Savage, Drake, and Central C? His head would explode. He wouldn't be able to handle it. It would be incomprehensible to him. Also, unrelated, this is Watch Dogs 2. Some of you were getting pressed that I was using surf clips in 2024 for the last video, which frankly I don't think was a problem, but I switched the gameplay to a classic. It's either this or surf, so take your pick and live with it. But if you disagree with me on any of that, it's fine, because in general, we buy clothes because we like them. That's the whole point of clothes, really. And again, if you really like Blonde, but you don't want to pay $700 for it, then I guess it's okay to grab a rep for your collection.
These feel amazing.
I don't know why they feel so nice.